This right here is Luka Doncic. And when he's making shots like this is when you know he's simply unguardable.
Stumbles, gets back up, and this goes in.
Luka Doncic is arguably one of the best players to step on the hardwood, who once again this year won't win the MVP. Is it because of his complaining? Is it because of his team? Or is it because of his skill? Well, whatever you say, just know it can't be because of his skill, as passes like this when you're doubled on the sideline will usually result in a turnover or a timeout called, but Doncic is someone you can trust to find the open man all the way across the court to then put this right on the money for the tray ball. Plays like that show you how well Luka can control things on the floor and results in him putting up 32 points a night along with 8 assists per game while shooting 47% from the field and 36% from 3-point range. Any way Luka wants to break the game of basketball, he can, all while making it look easy. Like for starters, when you have one of the most brilliant defensive-minded guys on the floor in Draymond Green, you have to be careful on how you operate. So when coming off this screen, we all know a pass to Aiden if he's to roll quick enough is always the first option. But at high levels of basketball in the NBA, you always have to be a step ahead of the defense. So with Doncic knowing that Green is on the weak side help and will be ready to rotate to the middle, he continues to keep his eyes on Aiden. And I know what you're thinking, well Draymond isn't moving, so this must be non-effective. Well actually, the reason Luka does this is to not necessarily make Draymond shift over, as he knows that Draymond is just as smart as him when it comes to reading movements on the floor. So this is simply used to freeze Draymond right in his place, so when the pass is zipped to the corner without looking, Green is just a split second too late to react and Smart is now able to bury it home. That right there is probably the most simplest way Luka can break the defense to get his desired outcome, and I want you to keep his passing in the back of your mind, because the reason his passing is so successful is because of how well he can score the ball. Literally, at any point of possession, Luka is a threat to score, and trust me, I'm being serious. Say he catches the ball with little time left on the clock to make something happen, he doesn't need to do much, as he can provide us with one of the crazier bank shots from 28 feet. And for actions that are less exciting, but 10 times smarter, Doncic will quickly realize that his big man has sealed off his defender down low, and although he could send the pass down to Maxey, he instead uses Paolo's positioning and Maxey's positioning as leverage so he can easily get inside for the layup. Reading the game at a high level and being able to make extra difficult shots is what makes Doncic such a difficult cover, and you see it show up at all levels of his scoring. In past years, we would see Luka attack the rack a lot due to his deception when it came to getting downhill, and I know some people will harp at him for opting into more difficult shots, but what if I could change how you look at that? With Luka suffering from lower body injuries consistently, his burst to get to the rim is pretty much non-existent. But instead of just turning into a pure shooter and nothing else, Luka started to lean more on his floater instead to still put pressure on the defense when attacking the paint. In past times, this mismatch right here on the wing will lead to Luka going right past to get to the basket. But in today's time, Luka attacks the rack while Wendell is able to stay with him, but this might just be more dangerous than him blowing right past. Because now with Doncic having Wendell on his hip and using that craftiness as well, he can angle himself into Carter's body before going up, and here comes the and one. Now listen, some people might see this as foul baiting, but really it's all about giving yourself more advantages, because if the big is towering over you when you're trying to attack, it's best that you initiate the contact first to draw a foul or create the space needed so you can still score inside. Anytime he wants to, Luka can easily flow into a floater for the times when the defenders keep backpedaling when he's attacking, and don't get me wrong, it won't always be an easy conversion, as when he pursues the basket here versus Denver, Brown and Jokic both are smothering him when he's navigating to the paint, but it's that use of the floater that allows him to beat the tight defense. As you start to watch him closely, you'll see that there's many ways he can get into these floaters, but the main one that catches my eye is his ability to split the defense when he sees a clear lane to attack, and then putting that soft touch on it up high so the defender can't get to it. Many times when you see Luka do this, he already knows where he wants to go. So he's more so baiting the defense to come towards him in this situation, and then when they least expect it, he abruptly pushes right through the middle of them while carrying the ball low to avoid the strip, and with DeAndre Jordan getting a hand in the cookie jar and not getting it out quick enough, this one leads to the and one. Other times when he does that split, it may come from the defense showing their hand too soon, which allows him to switch directions to get down the middle, and then sometimes it'll look like he's lost the ball when trying to split through, but it's that strength to keep it with him that gets him right into this spot, and here comes another 2 points. This floater is just a weapon that allows Luka to pick apart the defense without having to get all the way to the basket, but for those times where Luka isn't using them, well that's where shot creation comes into play. And if you were trading on Polymarket when the Lakers beat the Timberwolves, you would've won big. As when the Lakers only shot 28% in the first quarter while the Wolves shot 34%, this led to a 21-16 lead for Minnesota, where I instantly traded in for the Lakers to win at 41%. Now when coming out of halftime tied up, Luka and Austin Reeves went on a heater to help the Lakers score 39 points in the third quarter to put them up 84-65, and I instantly cashed out at 76% for a $226 payout. If you want to trade in and out of games in all 50 states like I do, make sure you download the app from my description and use my code MASTERY10 when you sign up. Now when diving back into how Luka is able to score from anywhere, it begins with his ability to create that space. Whether he chooses to stop on a dime when getting cut off from the rim to fade away over two, or if he chooses to let it fly from the outside, he can get any shot he wants and puts on a show.
Luka, that was literally at the buzzer. Yeah, wow.
I know it may not seem like a lot, but when you allow him to step back like this, even this small amount of space is enough to get the shot off. Because if you look closely, the ball is already in his shooting pocket, so once he gets that second foot down, he's already in motion. Those smooth mechanics off that step back make it to where the defender can't make any mistake when guarding him, or else they'll be too late to really contest the shot. And even if they do get a hand up and are right there on him, the focus is way too elite and doesn't even bother him. When you go online, you'll see some people hate that he resorts to these step backs so much, but it's one of the quicker moves Doncic can use to get into his shot, and then with his shot itself not being the quickest, when defenses do try and contest, they don't want to land in his space, so they have to contest from the side, and this lets Doncic keep a clear view at the basket. This step back can be accompanied by a snatchback that will give him extra time to load into his shot before the defender can fully get out on him, and sometimes these snatches are just nasty.
The 14th game this season that the Lakers big trio.
Yeah, he may be slower than most, but he can still get in that bag. After getting tired of him using a step back to generate good looks, you'll start to see defenders smother him whenever they get the chance, but it just doesn't knock off his focus. When you're this skilled offensively, it doesn't bother you when defenders crowd your space to make you uncomfortable, and if they are to close the gap and you can't launch the shot, well that's when you bump them off before rising up over the top of them. With many ways to score, it can be a nightmare matchup for any defender in the league. For example, sometimes he'll flow into a post-up to then get inside for a short push shot. Other times, the post-up will lead into a turnaround fade for the and one. And then once you've seen both ways he can operate out these actions, he'll fool you once again by spinning right off you for the bucket. Honestly, there's too much to think about when trying to stop Doncic from scoring. So that's why you'll start to see multiple defenders commit to him when he has the ball. And just when you think it's going to force him to mess up, it actually plays in his favor, as deception is a huge skill set in his game. So that's when he wraps his pass around the defenders while looking at the corner to catch them out of position. When you look at Luka in his passing, he might just be the best passer in NBA history. And I'm being serious. Anytime you get out of place, Luka is immediately going to make you pay for it. And he can do that with a lob over the top, a swing to one of his guys when he feels the double coming, or a flawless kickout that sets up a three-pointer. All of this here makes Luka one of the most unguardable players in the league, and it's a must that we dive deep into his passing that breaks defenses, so click this video to see how Luka dismantles defenses with just one play.